Well, let's start. Well, first of all, pal, it's great having you with us in Radioactiva again. How are you?
I'm great, doing fantastic.
Man, I gotta say, they hide forever, forever the Hives. What a great record.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's like maybe my favorite Hives record,
Honestly?
and not a lot of people get to do that 30 years in.
Yeah. What led you guys to go back in the studio after the death of Randy Fitzsimmons? It was so fast. I wasn't expecting to be a full record. I thought you guys were only gonna release a single and maybe next year an album.
Yeah, it's fast. I mean, we knew we wanted to since we hadn't made a record in 10 years before we did 11 maybe before we did the death of Randy Fitzsimmons. We knew we wanted to make two records pretty quickly, but we also knew we didn't want to talk about it while we were releasing the death of Randy Fitzsimmons. So we've kind of made them parallel a little bit.
Okay. You guys made an incredible showing here in Bogota despite the rain, and it was a heavy rain, man.
It was pretty crazy, yeah. Lots and lots of rain. I mean, the festival organizers made us stop for like 15 minutes because of lightning, and they said it wasn't safe. And then they said it was safe, so we could finish the show, which was good. But yeah, it was pretty crazy rain. But we only have one strategy when it comes to rain: is that the band also has to get wet, so that way the crowd knows that it's fine. You know,
Yeah,
So the first thing I did was just walk straight out in the rain, not stay under the roof. But it was pretty difficult because it was so slippery. It was like being doing a rock show on skates or something.
it was awesome. Another unbelievable show. We talked backstage of another show you guys did here in Colombia, opening for the Arctic Monkeys that people remembered a lot. So you already have two or three shows under your belt here in Colombia that people really, really, really remember.
And I mean that Arctic Monkeys show in Colombia, it's like at a round venue. What's it called?
Yeah, I don't remember because that venue doesn't exist anymore. They rebuilt it and now it's the Movistar Arena. So I don't
Okay,
recall
yeah,
the
yeah.
name, but yeah, that one.
That place was amazing. That's like one of my top three or top five Hive shows ever. I love that show so much. I didn't hear the band the whole show because the crowd was so loud. Like I couldn't hear what they were playing. I didn't know if I was like singing in the right spots or in the right key or whatever because the crowd was so loud. And that was like our first show in Colombia, I think, and we had no idea we were that beloved in Colombia. So yeah, since then we've wanted to come back more often.
Well, you got to come back more often, even though you already played this year, man. People love you. People are really in love with the Hive because of course the live shows and the records. About the album, is it my impression or does this album sound more raw than the Death of Randy Pitchens?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, that's what everybody says. And the weird thing is, we were trying to make a more slick and commercial album, but I guess we failed.
But still,
I mean, we actually didn't mix it. That's part of it. We tried to mix it and make it sound nicer and stuff, but everybody, including the record company, liked the rough mixes more. So we kind of used the rough mixes.
But you know what makes it even more interesting? The record having like an introduction and an interlude. Do you guys like uh put the songs in that order? Because I think it has an impact. The closing tracks are great. The High Forever track is awesome.
Yeah. No, we spend a lot of time and effort on the playlist, like how to put together an album. To us, that's the art form. It's kind of like putting together a show. Like you gotta figure out, like, the songs can become 20% better if you put them in the right order. It's really important. So yeah, we spent a lot of time on that. And this one was kind of difficult. We had the A side pretty quickly. Like we liked how that flowed, and it took us a while to get the B side in a way that we liked it. And yeah, and the interlude and the introduction are like, yeah, that's also there to make the record better, make the songs better.
Okay, because the fact that the last song, if I recall correctly, the opening lyric is like, I don't know what I did, but I would do it all again in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
It's great having that as the opening lyric of the last track of the record.
yeah, yeah. Well, we're saying the Hives forever, forever the Hives, so it means we're gonna keep going, I suppose.
Yeah, and I thought of it as a reflection, after 30 years of music.
That it's funny that we still don't know what we were doing. Yeah, I
Um,
suppose so.
there's some really cool tracks. I love that. Not in the sense of like radio friendly tracks, but just good music. They can't hear the music. It's another great track of the record. Can you tell me about that one?
It came together really quickly. That and the Hives Forever, Forever the Hives were like the fastest, kind of easiest songs to make. And and they can hear the music is kind of about the early days of the Hives, like the feeling of being in a band that you thought were great that no one had heard. It was kind of like there, we had something kind of in our pocket that we thought was amazing that nobody knew about, and it was a pretty powerful feeling. I guess it's about the feeling of having music in you that no one's heard, or like starting a band. Kind
Okay, what about Paint a Picture? That's another great song, and it kind of sounds different from the rest of the record.
of. Okay, in what way?
Uh, I wouldn't know exactly how to explain it in English because it's something on the sound of the guitar and the riff. I mean,
Okay,
it's most of the record sounds really raw, but that song just hit me differently.
okay, cool. No, I mean that song is fairly old. We recorded it. We have a demo of like 2018, and we played it live a bit that year, like 2018, 2019, and so that's been knocking around for a while, and it was always really popular. Like a lot of our friends would ask, like, when are you going to put that song out? Like, what when it's coming out and stuff. And now it's our new single, so it feels great to finally have it out in the world after all these years. I guess that's like 7 years ago or something, which is crazy.
I don't know if that has ever happened to you listening to a record, not exactly by the Hive, but any band you really like that you're just listening to the whole album and you go like, okay, this sounds different, this sounds I don't know, there was something I wouldn't
Yeah,
exactly
of
know how to
course. I
put it, but
mean,
I really liked it.
I think that's I think that's good. I mean, we want the stuff to sound different from song to song. Otherwise, it's kind of like cooking with only, oh, here's potatoes, and then there's some more potatoes, and then some more potatoes. Like you gotta have some variation, and our style is, super like high energy rock. So we just have to figure out different ways of making super high energy rock, and sometimes that can be difficult or whatever.
Course. Love the about changes. Love the album cover. These times you have like the crowns and all that, and different clothes. Are they like inspired on some fictional, real character, king or queen?
Yeah, I mean, we wanted it to look authentically king. Uh, so the crown is a replica of the St. Edward's crown, which is the crown that uh, Great Britain's, current king was coronated in, and his mom. I think that's like the English royal crown, and it's the
Oh.
most kind of iconic looking crown. So we kind of just there's a woman in India that makes replicas of different crowns, and she made it. And then the cape is the Museum of Royal Regalia in Sweden. It's like under the castle. You can see all the old carts and stuff. And a guy that worked there made the capes because he knew how to put together like a proper cape. But everything we tried to like rent and buy from the BBC or the Swedish Royal Dramatic Institute, whatever it was, it all looked too. It didn't look good enough for us. So it
Okay.
turned out we had pretty particular tastes when it came to capes and crowns. We didn't know that. We thought let's get a cape and a crown, and then we just liked nothing, and it took us a long time to figure out. But yeah, we're pretty happy with it. I mean, I guess it was about time that we would. We've been bragging so much. It was time we turned ourselves into kings, I suppose.
Cool. I'm a big Queens of the Stone Age fan. So when I read on the PR article that, Josh Homme was some sort of a counsel for the record, could you tell me a bit about that?
Well, me and Josh are friends, and we talk all the time, and we play each other. We play each other music that we made. He played. I mean, it was mostly done through the phone, but also I was at his house and we went to lunch and stuff. And we were driving around in his car listening to new Queens of the Stone Age stuff and new Hive stuff and just like talking about it. Like, what would you have done with this? What would you have done with this? Like, what do you think of this and stuff? So he's more like he was never in the studio with us on this record. He had a lot going on. I hope he can, or like we can work together again sometime in the future because it's been a while. But yeah, I think he's obviously a very talented guy, but also like he's such a great counselor, like cheerleader. Like he's so positive about everything. When I go like, oh, what do you think I should do with this song? And he go, that sounds great. You should just put it out.
And I'm glad I just saw the video of them playing in the catacombs in Paris, and he looks great. So I just love, because we're also looking forward for them to come to South America pretty soon. So that'll be great.
Yeah.
Um, what about Mike D? I wasn't expecting on him either. Working with the Hives.
Well, I mean, we've always been really big Beastie Boys fans since we were kids. Like every era they've had, I've kind of liked it all, and and we've always thought their records sounded really cool. Since like Sabotage came out, we liked it. We love that kind of raw, punky sound, and they were like better at it than most punk bands. Like a lot of punk at the time sounded really slick and polished, and the
Mm.
Beastie Boys was like the kind of raw punk that we wanted to make. So we've knocked around the idea of working with the Beast. Plus, we also like fooling around with like drum machines and synthesizers and whatnot. So we like the idea of working with the Beastie Boys and have talked about it many times. And I guess this time we were making the record with Pelle Gunnerfeld, who we worked with so much, but we thought that we should probably add some spice to it. And so we called Mike, and he was into it and wanted to do it, and we did basically. But yeah, it's just from us being fans of the way their records sound, and we kind of wanted some of that, I guess.
With all those early influences on the Hive, was there ever a time you guys thought about the sound of the band being different from what it is now?
How do you mean?
Like, could you guys change the sound of the Hive from early in your career, trying something like drastically different?
We do it all the time. We just kind of don't put it on record because we have a pretty we have pretty high standards and also a pretty set idea of what we think the Hives is. Um, so whenever we make a piece of music that's good but doesn't fit the Hives, we won't use it. But I think we've made. I mean, have you heard a song called Blood Red Moon we did for a movie soundtrack?
No,
I
for
don't
a
think
movie
it's
soundtrack.
on Spotify anymore. It's called Blood Red Moon. It was a Swedish movie about witches, like a horror movie. And we made a song called Blood Red Moon. I think you can find it on YouTube. You can find a clip of us playing it on a Swedish talk show with Benny from ABBA playing organ.
Cool.
And that doesn't sound like the Hives at all. It's some kind of like desert country or something. And then we have a song that we put out, a Christmas song called A Christmas Duel. That's a duet with Cyndi Lauper. And it's like a Phil Spector Wall of Sound kind of 60s girl group kind of thing. So we do sometimes make music that doesn't. And I guess the interlude on this record, it's also like that doesn't sound like the Hive. So yeah, we dabble in things that are very different, I think.
No, I think actually, going through the record, from my perspective, I might be wrong. The interlude sort of shows you that what you're about to hear, it's different from the first part of the record, like an A side and the B side on the
Yeah, yeah,
old
yeah.
school vinyl.
Yeah, we really think about it as an A side and a B side when we put it together. And I guess we had an idea that like the A side would be more traditional Hives sounding stuff, and the B side would be kind of more experimental or different, or I don't know, even pop. But I mean, once you have that idea, you still have to make it sound good all the way through and figure out a way to do that.
Yeah, no, but that's why I mentioned songs like They Can't Hear the Music and the closing with the Hive Forever, Forever the Hives. Those are different from the
Yeah, yeah,
A
yeah.
side of the record.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for
No,
noticing.
no, I like those details. I like to believe that, these things are there for something, like,
Yeah, they're
okay,
there for a reason. We've thought about everything on this record. Like none of it's a coincidence. This is
now
how we wanted it to be.
it is a great record. It is a great record. Actually,
Thank you so much.
the opening line on Enough is Enough, it's also like, what statement on what we're
Yeah,
about to hear on the record. If you play the record, that's the first track and the opening line. that's a statement in what we're about to listen to, and it works in our
Yeah, we
time.
wanted it to be way overboard, like way too much and too out of line and aggressive, and yeah, almost a little silly. We had to fight to keep that though. Like everyone in the band didn't like that line as the start of the record, but I fought to keep it, and I'm pretty happy I did. I think it's I think it's funny. It's also kind of true.
They sent us like the censored version. You said something different in
Oh
it.
yeah. In the censored version, I made kind of a joke about it where I sing about it being censored.
Yeah,
So
but
I think the line is everyone is saying you can't say this, and
yeah,
if you listen to the real version, you get the actual thing. That people are saying I can't say it.
no, we played the real one.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we played the real
But
one.
I think it's mostly just the UK. Like cursing is banned on the radio in the UK. So I think mostly it's for the UK. I don't think there's many other countries that use the clean version.
We used to play clean versions here in Colombia, but
Okay.
doesn't seem to care anymore. I
Okay,
don't know
that's cool.
why.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just,
Yeah, I think they're still doing it in the UK, and maybe there's some Christian stations or something, but they probably won't play us regardless. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, pal, it is still, man. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much for the time here with us on Radioactiva. And once again, you guys are more than welcome to our country.
Yeah, thank you.
I love to see how the band has grown with listeners and fans and with the live shows here in Colombia. So, man, it's always exciting to have you guys down south.
Really looking forward to coming back. It was a great time last time, even though it was raining.
Yeah. Well, let's hope you come and this time go to the new venue, the circular venue that you remember.
Oh yeah, it'd be great to play that. It was so
Yeah.
fun. Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, Bill. Thank you. Have a
Talk
very
later.
nice
Bye.
day.